Hello, everyone. Today we are going to go over the 7 best overall states for 2025 according to the U.S. News& World Report. U.S. News& World Report has many surveys and rankings on its website. Today I am focusing on the best states. This list is based on multiple data points, starting with healthcare, then education, as well as economy, infrastructure, public safety, natural environment, fiscal stability, and resident opportunities. Healthcare and education received the most emphasis. For detailed insights, refer to the link below in the description box for a comprehensive best states ranking method. Coming in at number 7, we have the state of Vermont. One of Vermont's most notable contributions to the American Revolution is the Green Mountain Boys, a band of patriots led by Ethan Allen, who organized a militia to combat in the war and became some of the state's founding fathers. Following 14 years as a self-proclaimed independent republic, Vermont joined the Union as the 14th state in 1791. The most delightful creation from Vermont's woods is its famous maple syrup, the finest called Grade A. Vermont ranks among the largest producers of this sweetener in the nation. It has a population of 648,493 and a median income of $46,413, ranking number 25 for affordability. The cost of living is below the national average, and the poverty rate is a mere 9.7%. Ranking number 11 for economic opportunity and number 1 for equality, it's no wonder the state is number 1 in opportunity. Here is how it ranks in the other categories. Number 4 for crime and corrections, number 15 for economy, number 23 for education, number 41 for fiscal stability, number 19 for healthcare, number 9 for infrastructure, and number 9 for natural environment. Coming in at number 6 is the state with, by far, the longest stretch of coast, as it is almost surrounded by the ocean. Can you guess? Well, if you guessed Florida, our favorite peninsula, you would be correct. With millions of visitors each year to its beaches, major amusement parks centered around Orlando, and cruise ships departing from ports on both coasts, tourism is a major contributor to Florida's gross domestic product. The state's agriculture industry is also robust, with Florida groves producing many of the country's oranges and a winter vegetable industry that makes agriculture a year-round enterprise. Tourism, which pays a sizable share of the state's sales tax, has also enabled Florida to remain among the states without a personal income tax, adding to the allure of the nation's leading retirement haven. The state has 1,350 miles of coastline and a landmass of 53,630 square miles. It's 792 miles by land from Pensacola in the far northwestern panhandle to Key West at the end of the archipelago that stretches south of Miami, and along the way, there is no natural elevation higher than 345 feet on a ridge of the panhandle. No state has a lower peak. With several large cities, the state also has a sizable system of state universities and community colleges. The University of South Florida in Tampa, the University of Central Florida in Orlando, and Florida International University in Miami have rivaled the University of Florida in Gainesville and Florida State University in Tallahassee in enrollment. Among the best-known private institutions is the University of Miami. Florida has a booming economy. It is number 16 for business environment and 16 for employment as well. It came in at number 1 for growth, with a job growth of 2.7%, which is over 1% higher than the national average, and net migration of 2.3% when the national migration average is 0.6%. It's no wonder Florida is ranked number 1 for economy. Ranking high in the other categories as well, it ranks number 2 for education, number 9 for fiscal stability, number 12 for natural environment, number 13 for crime and corrections, and number 15 for infrastructure. It didn't do as well, ranking number 21 for health, with Florida's huge population of 23,372,215 and a median income of $41,459. The cost of living is 3.5 times more than the national average of 100. The poverty rate is a whopping 12.3%, 1% more than the national average. It's no wonder why it ranked a low 47 for opportunity, only beating California, which is number 50, ranked 49 New York, and Texas at 48. Come on, Florida, you can climb higher. Better luck next year. Number 5 is Nebraska. Nebraska is a major agricultural state, and its many cattle ranches provide for the state's trademark corn-fed beef. Infrastructure is one of the many factors that help evaluate states for the quality of life it provides for its many residents. Nebraska came in at number 1 for infrastructure for 2025. The category takes into account the state's use of renewable energy, in which it is number 3, as well as the quality of its roads and bridges, also known as transportation, where they ranked at number 7, and they ranked number 8 in how accessible high-speed internet is for their residents. Nebraska's population is 2,005,465 people, with a median income of $42,456 per household. The state's GDP is roughly $184.4 billion. As for the other categories, Nebraska ranked number 29 for economy, number 13 for education, more specifically, number 12 for kindergarten through 12 grades. Then for secondary education, such as community colleges and universities, they ranked at number 17. They were number 6 for financial stability and number 23 for healthcare. Nebraska does have a lot of opportunity, with a poverty rate of 10.5%, which is 1.7% lower than the national average, and the cost of living there is 90.4, which is 9.6 lower than the national average. I don't see why more people aren't moving to Nebraska. But nonetheless, Nebraska still ranked number 17 for fastest growing state in that same report. So if you're interested in new scenery, check out Nebraska. They are understated. Number 4 is Minnesota. I possess actual experience in this state. Being the northernmost region, the cold deters many individuals. However, if you can endure the initial winter, the subsequent winter isn't as crushing. Your body somehow protects itself after that initial winter, and you no longer feel as cold. Ice hockey is important in this area, along with figure skating, since more than 10,000 lakes freeze over. You can choose any of them to skate on. Even more favored during the winter is ice fishing. Oh boy, if you mention ice fishing to a group of people here in Minnesota, you would hear a burst of "you betches" from everyone around you. With a natural environment ranking of 14, Minnesota boasts numerous stunning national and state parks to explore. Every town contains at least one lake, often several. During the summer months, those same lakes turn into the perfect place for your boats, pontoons, and kayaks, whatever you desire. If you can imagine a lake water activity, they're likely involved in it. However, carry your bug spray and safeguard your infants if you wish to prevent a mosquito from whisking away your child. Due to all that stagnant water, the mosquitoes are present everywhere. In Minneapolis and its surroundings, the lakes and adjacent parks are treated each summer to reduce mosquito populations, but if you're camping in Carleton County, be cautious of the insects. Another benefit of Minnesota is that the summers are never excessively hot. They do not exceed 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Their economy held the 28th position. Regarding education, Minnesota placed 11th. My first-hand experience with public schools, specifically at the elementary level, was enjoyable. During one of the years, we resided in Moose Lake, and that school had a very personal touch. They truly cared for my son's best interests. In Duluth, a significantly larger city along Lake Superior's shore, their elementary schools were excellently managed, and I found it enjoyable. For the most part, my son liked the schools here as well. While Trump was disrupting the federal Department of Education, Minnesota allocated more state taxes to schools, and we didn't notice any significant effect. I understand that this wasn't true for all states. Let's talk about the population of 5,793,151 people that call the state home. I really couldn't tell the state was that populated. That's probably because over half the state's population lives in Minneapolis or St. Paul and the surrounding suburbs. Duluth is almost a 2-hour drive from Minneapolis. The median income in Minnesota is $50,279 per household, and the state's GDP is $500.9 billion. Here is their ranking in the other categories: 13th for financial stability, 16th for healthcare, and 10th for infrastructure. They place 7th for opportunity, and in crime and correction, they are ranked 16th. If you can tolerate a few weeks of sub-zero temperatures, then you ought to consider Minnesota. Alternatively, at the very minimum, take a trip to the vicinity of Lake Superior. It is a sight to behold. Ranking 3rd is Idaho, boasting a population of 2,001,619 and a median income of $40,098. Idaho placed 10th for opportunity and also 10th for natural environment. After achieving statehood, Idaho's economy moved from mining to agriculture. Several ex-mining towns started to accommodate resorts, like the Sun Valley Ski Resort, which launched in 1936. Idaho is famous for its potatoes, trout, and gemstones, just as much as for its untouched, rugged scenery. They rank number 4 for economy, number 9 for crime and corrections, number 16 for infrastructure, number 20 for healthcare, number 29 for education, and number 8 for fiscal stability. And coming in second for the year of 2025 is, drumroll please. Coming in at number 2 is New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a small state with an area of 9,350 square miles. They have a pretty large population of 1,409,032 residents who call the state home. They have one of the nation's highest median incomes at $51,450 and a GDP of $121.2 billion. They are ranked the safest state of the year as well as number 1 for correction outcomes. They have the lowest prison return rate in the nation. This is why they were ranked number 1 for crime and corrections. With the way the nation is going now with all the mass shootings and such, this would be the safest state to raise a family in the United States of America. If you relocated here, what kind of education would your child obtain? They achieved a rank of 16 in education, which is decent but not outstanding. What is the employment forecast? Historically, New Hampshire's economy relied significantly on paper mills supplied by its forests and grain mills driven by its rivers. As millwork decreased in the 20th century, New Hampshire relied on manufacturing for a period. Currently, the historic mills and warehouses along the Merrimack and Manchester have turned to advanced technology. Smart manufacturing and advanced technology sectors make up a significant portion of the state's economy today, with much of this concentrated along the coast and in the Merrimack and Upper Valley regions. The economy was ranked 12th, and opportunity was ranked number 6. If you're intending to camp for the weekend with kids, you should find some beautiful campsites to stay in. The state is rated number 4 for natural environment. They rank 12th in healthcare and 37th in financial stability. Being the top state for crime and corrections truly makes it an ideal place to securely raise a family. With reduced stress, you can hopefully avoid early gray hair while your kids are out with their peers, then pack up and head to New Hampshire. At last, securing the number 1 position for the 4th year in a row is none other than, drumroll please, Utah. The state of Utah takes the top spot for the best overall state. The population residing there is 3,503,613, and the median income stands at $42,385. There is a lot of space in the state, significantly exceeding the state of New Hampshire in size. Utah spans 84,898 square miles. The state's GDP stands at $300.9 billion. Here is a concise summary of the history of Utah. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints referred to Utah as Deseret after they established themselves in this remote western area in the mid-1800s to escape religious oppression from the east. At the beginning of the Mexican-American War, several hundred people formed what is now referred to as the Mormon Battalion, traveling from Kansas to San Diego from 1846 to 1847 and forming a wagon trail through the expansive Southwest. They moved to Mexico until the war ended. They returned to Utah in 1848. They intended to create the state of Desert, a name they felt symbolized unity. The symbol that inspired them to do so was a symbol of unity. The depiction came from their religious text, the Book of Mormon. It looked like a honeycomb. By 1850, the population exceeded 11,000, and church officials designated people to manage their settlements. By 1900, the Mormons had created 500 communities throughout Utah and surrounding states. On May 10, 1869, the first transcontinental railroad was established at Promontory Summit in the Utah Territory, where the Union and Central Pacific Railroads met. When gold and silver were discovered in the mountains, Congress designated the area Utah to pay tribute to the local Native Americans. The Utah Territory was split, with sections forming Nevada, some included in Colorado and others in Wyoming. Utah became the 45th state in 1896. Utah's mountains, elevated plateaus, and deserts featuring the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere, located in the state capital of Salt Lake City, are flanked at right angles by Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. The Four Corners represent the sole configuration of its kind in the U.S. The state is recognized for its skiing, as the mountains close to Salt Lake City receive significant snowfall, and for the Sundance Film Festival, a leading independent film festival held annually in January in Park City, set to relocate to Colorado in 2027. Ranking number 1 for fiscal stability, which is understandable because the median household income is a massive $93,421. Coupled with the cost of living being considerably lower than the national average at 95.0. It makes sense why the state ranked number 1 in the category. The state even has an impressively low poverty rate of 9%, which is significantly lower than the national average of 12.2%. Here is how Utah ranked in all other categories, ranking number 48 for the natural environment, as well as number 19 for opportunity. It ranked number 14 for healthcare, then ranked 7th for crime and corrections. As for education, the state ranked 4th. Their economy ranked very well, coming in 3rd in the country. Also, ranking 3rd for infrastructure, and I am just so impressed that it was ranked number 1 for fiscal stability. I know I sound like a broken record. There you have it, the top 7 best overall states for the year 2025, according to U.S. News and World Report. Congrats, Utah. You've done it again. You ranked number 1 overall as the best state out of all 50 in the United States. What do you think about the rankings for the year? Do you agree, or do you feel that this list is not accurate? Well, drop a comment below with which states you think should have been at the top for 2025. Do you live in the United States? Are you one of those lucky people whose state was included in this video? If so, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. If you like to know about different places and what various surveys and research statistics say about different locations, then subscribe to the channel. Also, like this video if you learned something from it. Thanks for tuning in. This is Informed Family YouTube doing the research so you don't have to. Goodbye everyone, I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely week.